Hey friends, Asher with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I've got a special fragrance for you guys. I got this one right here, Interlude 53 from the house of Amouage. This is the second flanker in the Interlude line. So you have the original Interlude Man, then you got Interlude Black Iris, which between us, really good. And now this one. This fragrance was sent to me for review by Twisted Lily. Shout out to them, and a link in the description to their website. They're a fantastic retailer for niche fragrances, and you can find this one on their website. Use the code GENTS10 anytime you shop there, anytime you buy anything, and you'll get yourself 10% off. And considering this fragrance runs $470, 10% off will come in handy if you decide to pick this one up. As always, the fact that Twisted Lily sent this to me does not affect my review. I'll let you guys know what I think about it, let you know where it stands in the hierarchy of interlude fragrances, if it's better or worse than the original or Interlude Black Iris. I'll also show you the bottle and no box because this is a tester. So again, shout out to Twisted Lily. Thanks so much. Link in the description. Also link to this fragrance in the description. Gents 10, let's jump into it. Well, let's kick things off with the presentation. Here's the box. Yeah, that's the magic of editing. Like I said, it's a tester. I don't actually have the box, but that's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottle since I do have that. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this is an enormous fingerprint magnet. This bottle just gets fingerprinted up immediately as soon as you touch it. So if you want it to look really nice in your collection, you're gonna have to have a little microfiber towel and just constantly be polishing your bottle after you pick it up every time. Here is the bottle though. Looks nice. You get this little charm that sits over the collar of the bottle. Of course, the cap is magnetic, like always. I'll go ahead and waste a couple sprays for you guys as well. So here you go. It's like a normal Amouage bottle, and now I'm going to be smelling like this for the next week. The bottle is in the typical Amouage Man bottle style. It has a slight blue paint job on the inside of the bottle, so it gives it this nice look. And then you have a clear glass on the outside, right here on the edges. So it looks really nice. I like what they've done with it. You got the name of the house, name of the fragrance right there on the front. And then on the bottom, you have your sticker with your badge code. So really, the bottle pretty much the same as any Amouage Man bottle, a slight variation on that Interlude blue bottle design. I do like the way it looks. I think overall it looks better than the original, just as far as the presentation goes. So the name, Interlude 53, what's that all about? This fragrance has 53% fragrance oils, 47% perfumer's alcohol. If that sounds really high to you, that's because it is really high. The original Interlude had 25% fragrance oil versus 75% perfumer's alcohol. And even that 25% versus 75% is on the really high side when you're talking about fragrances. So this one being 53%, you would expect it to be deeper, richer, etc., etc. Now, a lot of people would think, oh, higher concentration. That means it's gonna be just crazy powerful. It's gonna project forever. It's going to last forever. And that's not always the case. Actually, a lot of times when you're talking about concentrations, the higher the concentration, it loses a bit of that projection, which is where you'll see a lot of fragrances will go from an eau de toilette that projects like a monster to having an eau de parfum version that doesn't project quite as much, but is still pretty good, and then a parfum version that actually sits closest to the skin. And Interlude is really well known for being an extremely powerful fragrance. We're talking about the original. People call it the Blue Beast because it's so powerful. It projects heavily. It's got a lot going on. It lasts forever. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this one, how it smells. This one opens up with a burst of bergamot, which you probably wouldn't expect, but you actually do get a decent amount of bergamot in the opening as soon as you spray it on. There's also a spicy pimento here, and you do get a little bit of oregano. Now, not as much as the original. The original was pretty aggressive. Some people didn't like the opening at all. They thought, oh, this is super off-putting. I can't wear this. This is not for me. It's kind of gross. This is much smoother and rounder and more refined. So it's not as aggressive in the opening, not as off-putting, and is actually a little bit darker to me than the originals is, after that bergamot takes a step back, which happens pretty quickly. So when that bergamot steps back, you get resins that come in and fill that space. You get smoky woods as well. So a little bit of an herbal facet in here, not as much as the original though. So again, a little bit reined in as far as that aggressiveness goes, as that potentially off-putting nature goes. It's reined in a little bit. As that bergamot does step back, you get resins and smoked woods that come in and fill that space where the bergamot used to be. It's got a little bit of this smoked herbal facet to it, and it shares that with the original, though again, not quite as aggressive in that sense. That part of the fragrance is not quite as aggressive. This one's a little bit sweeter, a little bit deeper than the original, but it is still pretty close to the original. In the opening and the mid, you're definitely gonna be able to tell that this is Interlude. Nobody's gonna smell this and be like, oh no, that smells nothing like the original. That's pretty close, which you would expect because this is ultimately that fragrance, just with a higher concentration and technically aged a bit longer before it's bottled, but still. Through the mid, this smells great. It's got a Papanax, Labdanum, and Amber. It's got all these resins mixing together with a little bit of smoke and leather. Oh, it smells really good. It's mysterious, it's very luxurious, it's dark, it's deep, it's sweet. It's got a little bit of a churchy incense vibe. It's really, really, really good. And while it does have that leather that I just mentioned, that's not the star of the show. That just kind of backs everything up. The real star is the incensey, smoky feel and those resins. That's really what this is all about. So Interlude 53, once you hit the dry down, is it super different than the original Interlude? Not really, no. It is different from the opening through the mid to the dry down in the way it comes across, but it is still the same fragrance. So let me explain that a little bit as quick as I can here. In the opening, this one, Interlude 53, is less screechy, less potentially abrasive, less aggressive, less off-putting potentially. The oregano is not as forward, and the bergamot actually initially, in that first blast, comes out more for me in this one. It's smoother, it's deeper, it's richer, it's more well-rounded. Essentially, it smells like you took Interlude and you gave it more depth, more richness, you made it more luxurious. That's what this is. They've not taken Interlude and made huge tweaks and changes everywhere. It's just more fragrance oil. It's higher quality. That's how it comes across. It's like you took that fragrance and you smoothed everything out. It's like having something built for you and giving them a shorter time frame. They're gonna get it done, but maybe it's not gonna look as nice. If you give them more time, then they can go in and kind of touch everything up and make sure it's just right, just perfect. That's what this smells like. It smells like you took Interlude and you just gave it a little more time, a little more effort put into it. Now, do I think Interlude 53 is better than the original? Yes, if we're not taking the price into account. This is quite expensive, 470 bucks, even with 10% off. It's still gonna be really expensive. But if you just hold up Interlude and Interlude 53 and you say, pick which one you want, I'm taking Interlude 53 every single time. Do I like it more than Interlude Black Iris though? No, actually. I like Interlude Black Iris more. Now for some people that's gonna be sacrilege, but I really just love Black Iris. They took the Interlude DNA, they tweaked it, they changed it a bit, made it more versatile, more wearable, while retaining the same feeling, the same vibe that the original had, and I love it. So for me, that one is the one to own of the three, if you can have just one. Now, back to this one. In terms of when you would wear it, winter and fall, more so winter. So cool and cold weather. Is it more of a daytime or nighttime scent? More of a nighttime scent, hands down. And performance, how long does this last? A really, really, really long time. If you spray this on clothes, the time is gonna be measured more in weeks than even days. And that's real talk. Like, it is gonna stay there forever. You could even wash your clothing, and depending on how much of this you got on there, you could still smell like it when you pull it out of the wash. Now, in terms of your skin, 10 plus hours is to be expected, maybe even 12 plus, depending on how well your skin does with fragrances, but it lasts a long, long time. Projection, it's above average, but for me, not as strong of a projector as the original Interlude. So it's above average, it's gonna get the job done, no worries there, but just not quite as much as the original. And going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, it's one of those things that happens a lot of times when you up the dosage of the perfume oils. It actually won't project quite as much. That's not always the case, but a lot of times it is. And as for when I would wear this, evenings out, formal situations, special occasions, things like that. Not really an office fragrance. And you can wear it casually, but don't spray on too much. Overall, I think it's amazing. I think it's a fantastic fragrance, really high quality. You can tell as soon as you spray it on that the quality is through the roof. So there's really nothing to knock on it other than the price, but you're getting a fragrance that's both exclusive and is in a crazy high concentration. It is absolutely 100% worth owning if you're a collector, a fan of the Interlude line, or a fan of Amouage. And while yes, I like Black Iris a little bit more because I can wear that in more situations and it just appeals to me on a higher level, as far as just complexity and luxury, this one takes the cake. So there we go, guys. Amouage Interlude 53. Again, shout out to Twisted Lily. Link below to both their website and this fragrance on their website. Gents 10 gets you 10% off. And that's the whole site, not just the fragrance. If you've smelled this one, let me know what you think about it in the comments below, or just let me know what you think about Interlude in general. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.